Hey, it's Brad here. Before we get into today's podcast, I just want to let you know that time is running out. I'm not sure when you are watching this podcast, but time is running out for you to pre-order our 2025 Comrades Marathon Pace Bands. That's what they look like right there. Comrades yellow and black, super easy to read, waterproof, and will get you to your Comrades goal in 2025. We do need to print them, so we do have to close pre-orders very, very soon. So make sure that you scan the QR code that is on screen right now. You can also go to coachbarry.com/band and you can pre-order your pacing band. And even better news, we've been getting tons of emails, but you can also pre-order your pacing bands and pick them up at Comrades House in Pietermaritzburg. Just let us know when you place your order where you're going to pick them up, either Durban or Pietermaritzburg, and we'll make sure that they're there and waiting for you. So whatever time you want to run, specific, down to the minute, if you want to run a 10:17, Comrades, we can print you a pacing band for 10:17. If you want to run an 11:37, we've got you covered as well. Or maybe you want to run a 6:52, that we can do as well. So make sure you scan that QR code or head over to coachparry.com/band and get yours right now. Now, straight into today's podcast. It is exactly 2 weeks to go to Comrades Race Day. This is the next episode of Down. My name is Brad Nadalt. We've got the coach Lindsay Parry with us once again. Lindsay, excitement is building. I tell you what, I am oscillating between excited and absolutely petrified, but I think with 2 weeks to go, that's pretty much normal, isn't it?
Very normal. You're in for a 90K race in 2 weeks' time. So difficult. Yeah, I mean, it is scary. The good news is most of you listening here have trained well. Most people who come to Comrades aren't studying for the exam in the last 2 days. So you've trained well. You are going to get the jitters. We've chatted 2 weeks ago. We chatted about the taper. So you are now in the throes of it. You are starting to feel like you're losing your fitness. You're not. Okay, you're getting fresh. If you're sick or injured, as we discussed last week, you've got to get it treated, sorted out. And 2 weeks to go. Mostly you're losing sleep out of nerves, but probably also just a bit of excitement there. And I think for some people, a little bit of relief that it's finally just about here.
Absolutely. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the logistics of getting to Comrades, so getting to KwaZulu-Natal. I think maybe a few people are there already that might have traveled early, but for the vast majority of us, we still need to make that journey if we are coming from out of town. We're going to be talking about the Expo and sort of how to get through the Expo in one piece that it doesn't ruin your race. And then we'll also be talking about getting to the start on race morning, because that's also quite important from a logistical point of view to make sure you have a successful race. So that's all coming up in this episode of the podcast. You will have noticed this cap as well. We spoke last week about the pacing charts that are on sale right now that you can pre-order and pick up at our stand at the Expo. But we also have Coach Parry caps and some other merch available. So if you'd like to pre-order some of that, and we'll have it waiting for you at the Expo as well. All you need to do is click on the link that's in the description of this podcast, of this YouTube video. If you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on whatever podcast player you are listening on, you can click through there right now. And while you're at it, please do give us a subscribe as well. And if you're listening on audio, please just leave us a rating and a review on that podcast platform. It really does help us get in front of other runners just like you as well. Lindsay, let's talk about traveling to KZN. There's lots of people traveling from just around the corner, and there are lots of people traveling halfway around the globe to get there. But in essence, the things we need to do as part of the journey to get to Comrades are the same, and there are mistakes that can be made and easily avoided. Tell us a little bit about your advice with regards to travel and getting to Comrades. What should we take note of? What should we avoid doing? What are some of the best practices you would advise?
So the most important thing, Brad, is the lists. So we've gone on about these lists for months now. Every time we talk about the Comrades long run, we talk about lists. Now your list is going to start earning its keep. So 2 weeks out from race day, I like to get packed and organized. Okay, so the internationals will be flying in late this week or early next week, and then most of the South Africans and from other parts of Africa that'll be flying in they will be flying in next week, but we want to be organized. So we're going to get everything sorted and ready. So you need to get that list out and make sure that you actually have everything that you need on that list: the plasters, your nutrition, your race day nutrition strategy, your cap, the underwear that you wear, bra, plasters that you use, your running socks, kit, license, bib boards, etc., that you need for actually sticking your race numbers on. Literally every single thing that you need for race day on your list that you've made, you're going to put that into your little special carry-all, and that is going to stay with you for your entire journey. Okay, that does not get checked in. There literally is nothing more stressful than arriving to a race that you've traveled to from out of town, and you cannot, you're waiting for your stuff because it's your running shoes or whatever are inside that checked-in baggage, and your checked-in baggage has gone missing. So make sure that you pack that into a special bag, and that is packed and you know where it is, and you keep that list in there, especially if you've got children. And then before you leave the house, don't assume everything that you packed in there is still in there. Just have a quick check of that bag before you actually physically leave the house, and that stays with you for your entire journey. If there's anything particular, and again, this is probably more for the internationals, but it goes for anyone that's actually staying away from home. So if you're not, if you're staying in a hotel, in particular, so Airbnb or staying in self-catering places are easier. But typically, staying in a hotel away from home, you can't get the things that you used to. And we've been harping on about nothing new on race day. So also make sure if there's a particular cereal or something that you need, especially on race day, but even in the couple of days leading up to going, just make sure that you also pack some of that so that you've got, for race dinner, you can eat as close to what you're used to eating. But certainly when you wake up in the morning, everything is tried and tested. You've used it before. You know what time you're going to take it. All of that stuff literally has to go with you on the aeroplane. Try and sleep well this week, because we joked about the nerves, and we're going to talk about the real nerves a bit more next week with 1 week to go. But try and get as much rest as you can now, as much good quality sleep as you can this week, because as soon as you start traveling, that is going to be a bit of an issue. You certainly, if you coming across time zones and all of that kind of thing, the more rested you can be going in, the less that impact is going to be on that body. So, I think in short, just get organized. I think that's really what I'm trying to say. Be very organized. Make sure that you can take as much with you as you can. Probably not so easy if you're coming from overseas, Brad, but when I'm going to a very important race, I kind of like to take my own pillow. I feel like that can make a huge difference to getting decent night's sleep, especially 2 nights before race day.
Yeah, Lindsay, I'm a bit fixated on something you said early on in that. You were talking about the list, and especially if you have kids. I'm worried that you have to put the kids on the list, that you don't forget the kids at home when you're traveling, or is it that the kids are going to lose your list? I'm not quite sure.
No, it's that the kids see a bag and they wonder what's in there. And then, they find the gels and they think they're sweet. And then when you get to the race, you've packed everything and, oops, I don't have any gels. Where are my gels? Huh? Yeah, basically the comment I was making is, if you've got children, you need to recheck your bag and make sure that nothing that you put in there has been taken out of there.
Yeah, if they're bouncing against the walls, check that your gels are still in your bag. That's what you need to make sure of. Lindsay, let's talk a little bit about the sort of dealing with the expo, and I mean, it's exciting. There's so many new things to see, particularly for the novices. But the expo itself can be, I don't want to say a trap, but you can get yourself into trouble in the 4 days leading up to Comrades Race Day around the expo.
Yeah, so there's quite a few ways that the expo can actually mess up your race, to put it bluntly. And you're right, the expo is great. And one of the things that was cool about being involved in the Two Oceans Expo was that there was just such a a high quality vendor. Like there was really good, exciting new products on the market. The people that we know from the expos, having had done them for years, were there and had put in a lot of effort. So it was just a really good expo. And we know from having raced all over the world, you've done London, I've done New York and Boston, that the Comrades Expo is the granddaddy of expos. It's literally the best running expo that we've been to or that you will go to. And so because Two Oceans one was so good, I'm really excited about this one. But what does that mean? It means trapped is a good word. So we are there, and we're there for the full 3 days. So I'm almost chuckling. I bet you Brad is chuckling. We see people that I like to call the trawlers, okay, and they come and trawl the expo all 3 days in the same kit, normally a tracksuit with lots of badges on it, but they're the people who want everyone to know they're running Comrades, and they want everyone to see that they are running Comrades, and they come and trawl the expo for 3 days. I don't know how those guys run. Well, I actually have a good idea of how it feels when they run, because that's one of the reasons why I actually don't run Comrades anymore, is because after 3 days on my feet at the expo, I'm literally broken. So I start running Comrades feeling like I've already done Comrades, and it's just really, really hard. So those people are actually making sure they've got no chance of running a good Comrades. So yeah, Brad, we see them. There's normally like 5 to 10 of them that live at the expo. But yeah, that's what we want to avoid. And I think that's really, to your point, is the expo is great. You do want to come there. You do want to spend time there. And so we always recommend to come on day 1 or 2 of the expo. Firstly, it's the least busy. Okay, so even though we are recommending people to come that day, the reality is that practically the majority of people need to come late on day 2 or early on day 3, and that's just because of leave considerations, etc. So the vast majority of people are going to cram into those 2 sessions. So that's your highest chance of getting sick. You don't want to be spending hours at the expo when you are coming to the expo the day before, but you can afford to spend a good 2 hours there if you come on day 1 and the morning of day 2. You can really spend your time there. You can get time to spend with us, with the other vendors. But yeah, I think that's the first and most important thing about the expo is try and come early. If you can't come early, you want to get there, queuing your number, having a look around and seeing everything, not more than an hour. Otherwise, you're going to start impacting on your race the next day.
Yeah, Lindsay, funny story. I don't think I've told you this actually. So at Two Oceans, so obviously I'm running. Everybody knows I'm running this year. And as you say, like when you have a stand at the expo, when you're there for 3 days, it's exhausting. I mean, it's literally 12-hour days on your feet. You might not be running, but you feel like you've run Comrades by the time Comrades race day arrives. And one of our clients who you've been coaching one-on-one, been around our sort of community for a long time, Rian van Zyl, Royus, came to me at the Two Oceans Expo and he said, I'm so glad that you're running Comrades and I want to donate to your charity. So obviously I'm raising funds for Race for Charity. He said, but I'm only donating to charity once I know what your Comrades Expo strategy is. And I said to him, Ria, what are you talking about? He goes, I need to know what your Comrades race, your Expo strategy. He doesn't want to know my race strategy. He wants to know my Expo strategy. So I said to him, Rian, I'm going to be there on Thursday and then I'm not going back. And he said, cool. I'll make a donation. And I went home that afternoon and he had made a donation on my Race with Charity. So Royus, thank you very much for that. But that is my strategy and I'm putting it out there now. So I love, and this is probably the one thing that I'm most bleak about, Lindsay, if I have to be brutally honest. I'm excited that I'm running Comrades this year, but the thing that I'm really bleak about is that I'm going to miss the whole expo because I love being at the Comrades Expo and just meeting everyone. Obviously, we've been doing these podcasts for months now. A lot of people use these as resources to get them to Comrades Race Day, and they just want to come say how's it. And I'm going to miss not having that in the build-up, but I'm stating it now. I will be at the Expo on Thursday, so if you want to come and say how's it to me, Thursday is going to be the day that I'm going to be at the Expo. I don't know if I'm going to be there all day. I doubt it. I'll probably be there quite early and then leave in the afternoon. But yeah, we will let you know. But that's when I'm going to be at the Expo. And Lindsay, that's the advice. Basically, you telling people get there as soon as you can, like in the week, and get out as soon as you can. If you're over 50 and want to recover from sessions faster, run pain and injury free, and improve your endurance, then be sure to join Lindsay and I for our upcoming Faster Beyond 50 Masterclass. In it, we'll show you how we helped a 70-year-old run a 47-minute, 18-second 10K and how you can take those exact same principles and apply them in your training. Simply scan the QR code that's on screen right now or click on the link in the description below to save your seat in the training now. We look forward to seeing you there.
I mean, if you live in Durban, you got almost no excuse. You just get there early, do your thing. If you're flying in from overseas, hopefully you are going to be giving yourself 3 or more days in South Africa. So hopefully you'll be able to come early. And then, yeah, it's just really takes the pressure off everyone else too, so that when the main rush comes on Saturday morning in particular, at least you've registered and helped ease that burden. But yeah, no, you spot on. That is the strategy. The second thing that's incredibly important about the Expo is that you're going to be introduced to a whole bunch of new products, which is also great. It's awesome to see those things coming into the sport. It means that the sport is growing and it's healthy and it's vibrant. And I want you to try those new products, just not on the 8th of June. Okay, so all those lovely products there, take them, take the free samples, but anything that you buy or get from the Expo, put it in a little goodie bag, and you keep that for when you train for the next race or the next Comrades or whatever it is. But the nothing new on race day also extends to the stuff that happens in and around the Expo. So yeah, I think that those are the two most important things of the Expo is don't spend hours on your legs and nothing new on race day.
Yeah, one of the funniest things that I've ever seen at the Comrades Expo, this is a good few years ago, Net Florist used to be one of the sponsors of Comrades. And then obviously all the sponsors put things into the goodie bags for people to try out. And Net Florist is just an online flower seller, basically, for those of you who don't know what Net Florist is. And they put a little sachet of plant food into the goodie bag. So obviously those are the things that you put in your vase to make the flowers last longer. And obviously a whole bunch of people didn't know what these things were. It wasn't labeled properly like plant food. And they were literally sitting at the little food court, pouring it in water, thinking it was like a electrolyte type of drink that they drink in the plant food. Like, just don't do anything new before race day. Save it for afterwards, because the last thing you want to do is sprout a patch of daisies on race day. That's the last thing you need, okay? Without a doubt. Lindsay, let's talk. I don't know if there's anything else we missed on the Expo. Yeah, it is the temptation is there to spend lots of time, because the Comrades Expo is cool, and the community at Comrades, I mean, there are a few sort of groups of people who travel around and run the majors. But the thing with Comrades that makes it so special is the race is great, but the people are just absolutely amazing. And we see it often that it's a chance to catch up with friends that you haven't seen since last year. So the Expo is just a convenient place to do it, but the danger is spending 3 full days at the Expo and arriving on race morning exhausted. So I think we've hit that point home. I'm gonna ask this too, because it's getting to the start, but the Saturday before as well, and we'll talk maybe a little bit about it next week again. But I know that a lot of people like to have shakeout runs and that sort of thing. Obviously, the park run on the promenade is one of the biggest park runs in the world on Comrades Race Day weekend. What are your thoughts on taking part in those sorts of things on the Saturday before Comrades?
Yeah, look, they're fairly harmless, but please do them slowly. There was a crazy American guy, Mike Wardian, who's an exceptionally good runner. I think he ran 17 minutes for the park run the day before, and then ran like, I don't know, low 6s or Comrades madness. But so yes, we do get some crazy people in the world. But yeah, so do them. I mean, again, for the same reason, Brad, as that expo. I just know so many people that meet at races all over the world, and they use that park run as part of that experience. Just do it so slowly. I mean, I know 5K sounds like nothing, but it's not nothing. So just really jog it slow, slow, slow. Take it super easy. You're there. The reason you're there is to typically meet somebody or to do a new park run. So I'm actually putting it out there now that I'm not going to do the North Beach Park Run this year. Someone else is going to have to open the expo on Saturday, not me, because I need to go and get a U for my alphabet here. Um, for my alphabet here. So I'm going to go and do the
I was about to say,
Umhlanga park run.
please
So
tell me you're not going to Uvongo because that's a bit of a drive.
yeah. Yeah, no. So I'm going to do Umhlanga so that I can get my U. Yes. So I think that's basically why I love parkrun. It's like they are everywhere. You can agree to meet up there with some mates, and then you can, if you normally run it in 25 minutes, run it in 30 minutes. If you normally do it in 30 minutes, do it in 35 minutes. Like really just a minute a K slower than what you are capable of, and then you be cool. You won't have an issue. And just be warned that if you think you're going to go for a quiet, not everyone does park run, but everyone goes out onto the prom and they think they're going to just go out for a quiet little 15-minute stroll. That doesn't exist on Comrades race morning on the Saturday. The prom has got groups in excess of 1,000 runners singing and dancing, and it's I would go down to the prom just to have breakfast to watch, because it's really it just it starts that comrade spirit that we all love going. So the short answer to your question, Brad, is do it, but do it very, 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 very easy. And then yeah, if you're wanting to have a very chilled um 15 to 20-minute run, don't do it at the prom. Go do it somewhere else, and then come down to the prom for your coffee and watch these huge groups of runners coming through.
Yeah, I was just going to add in there, Lindsay, like just because there is a park run doesn't mean you have to run it. I think that's also part of
That's
the thing too. So you can go down there. And it's funny, what made me realize that is obviously through what we do, we get to meet a lot of people from around the world. And that's one of the reasons why I love the Comrades weekend, because a lot of them come out and run Comrades. And I actually noticed this for the first time last year. So I ran the park run last year, but a lot of our international clients and friends came down, but they didn't run because they were running the next day. And I was like, oh, fancy that. You can actually go to a park run and not run. Wow, that's amazing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down, experience the vibe, but I'm not going to be running. So there's another opportunity. If you do want, I'm not going to be in Umhlanga. I'll probably be North Beach Park Run. So yeah, if anybody wants to come down and say how's it, we'll be at the start of the North Beach Park Run, probably grab a coffee afterwards. So yeah, more than welcome to come and say how's it and hang out. So there's another opportunity. Lindsay, let's talk about the starts. Race morning. The getting to the Comrades start is always a logistical, I don't want to say nightmare. It's always difficult because if you just think about it, Pietermaritzburg they call it Sleepy Hollow for a reason, because not much happens in Pietermaritzburg. It's a small little town. There aren't many access roads. It's really hard to get in, and all of a sudden you shipping in thousands of runners to run Comrades on race morning. Yeah, what advice can you give to people getting to the starts on time to make sure that it's as stressless as possible?
Yeah. So there's probably 4 access points into Maritzburg, and then 2 of them are closed on race morning. One of them because that's where the runners are going to be running out of, and the other one for emergency access vehicles only. So that is the literal problem. Look, it's miles too late now to try and get accommodation in Maritzburg. But obviously that's the best option, is to actually sleep in Maritzburg the night before if you can. But that kite flew about 6 months ago. You really have to be organized in January. Yeah, I mean, I book the place where I sleep when I check out. Comrades the year before book, and that's so that kite flew. But I think from a logistical point of view, to take the stress out, You just have to get to Pietermaritzburg early. I think that's really the bottom line. I think if you leave early, you're going to sleep so badly the night before anyway. You just get up and you get up early and you make sure that you are in Maritzburg over an hour before the official start time. I would target the races this year is at 5:45, so I'd want to be in Pietermaritzburg between 4 and 4:30 at the absolute latest. So I'd have my ETA but at 4 o'clock, 4:45 at the absolute latest. If you do that, you are going to sit in a little bit of traffic, fine, but you won't be stressed out because you'll know that you've got plenty of time to get in, get your stuff, and do it. And I guess with the two-start system, that's potentially one of the things where there'll be slightly less pressurized, having one lot of people going in. But yeah, I mean, there's only 15 minutes between those two. So I actually feel like they might still load everybody at the same time. And then just as one moves off, the next group will filter in. But yeah, the theme there is early, but get there early and take all the stress out of it. You've got to get to the start. You've got to get to the tog bag area to drop off a tog bag if you aren't going to have someone waiting for you at the end. To be honest, it's very cold in Pietermaritzburg, so even if someone is waiting for you at the end, I would have some warm kit that I can wear until there's 10 to 15 minutes to going into the start pen. And then I'd give away most of my warm clothes in that tog bag, and then I'd keep some throwaway gloves, throwaway shirts, or warm top. Lots of people use dustbin bags, but I hate that. I hate that for the environment, and I really hate that for the fact that it's very dark. And so if you're throwing black dustbin bags on the side of the road, other runners can trip and hurt themselves quite badly on those black bags. So rather some throwaway kit. And I'm going to remind everyone about this next week because it's important, is that it's cold in Maritzburg at the start, and the last few downs hasn't been freezing, but it can be. But where it does get freezing is that once you have gone over Polly Shorts and you drop down into the valley, it gets freezing cold. And because you've climbed most of the first 5.5 Ks or so to the top of Polly's, you are a bit warm and sweaty. And so people have discarded their stuff. And then you plummet down into the valley and it's freezing cold down there. So keep your warm gloves on until the sun is up. That's all I'm telling you, is because I also find another very cold snap hits as that sun is coming up, and that's going to be at a different time to what it normally is because the race is starting at a slightly different time. But for me, traditionally, that's been just before Umlaas Road, so about 15 or 16 Ks into the run. That's when there's been another temperature drop, and only at like the 23, 24K mark am I normally throwing those warm clothes away.
Yeah, absolutely. Linz, and I mean, we don't know. The truth is, I mean, Comrades have changed the start a little bit. We don't know how it's going to play out on race morning. We only know that on race morning. So I think, don't think if you in wave 2 that you can get there later than what you normally would have. I think your advice is good. Get there super early and just take in the vibe. But the last thing you want to do is be stressing on race morning that you're going to be late for the start. And miss the start. And also, if we can just urge people, we did it earlier on in the series too, let's just all be decent human beings on race morning, that if you are stuck in traffic, don't go on the wrong side of the road, because that's just going to create other issues down the line. And then when you're actually at the start as well, don't jump over barriers, don't push. Let's just all be decent human beings. I think that is probably the thing that we all agree on, hopefully, come Comrades race morning. I don't know if there's anything that we've omitted with regards to sort of getting to the start, but we're going to be talking a little bit about how to save yourself time and all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, that's all next week. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, I think we've covered it. I think we've given the Expo a good go, given the start a good go. It's going to be new for all of us. Yeah, and I think the key here is that Comrades has tried really hard to solve for the problems that runners have been complaining about for years, but to Brad's point, this won't work unless we actually cooperate with what the best laid plans need people to actually follow the instructions. And if we follow the instructions and it doesn't work, cool, then we can go and try something different. But we can't not do what we're asked to do and then turn around and go, but the plan was rubbish. Like, let's actually give the plan a chance to work.
Yeah, that was actually something I did want to ask you about. Was getting to the start, was using the official Comrades coaches, the buses that run from Durban to Maritzburg. Would you suggest using one of those as opposed to trying to Uber up, or if like driving yourself up? That's those buses probably.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would. Again, my experience at Boston Marathon always makes me feel like those buses must be a lot of fun. I mean, I know it's early, but you get a bit of atmosphere already building with all the other runners. And yeah, I think the key here is to do things that cause as little stress to you as possible. So if you're an out of towner, you don't know the road between Durban and Pietermaritzburg, get on one of those buses. Someone else takes care of it. They are going to get you there super early. I believe that they're going to have their own. They'll probably be able to use that emergency exit. So they'll also have a shortcut, if you like, or easier route into Maritzburg is a better way to put it. So yes, I would recommend their use, because stress is energy. And you're going to be stressed anyway because you've got to run 90K. So to try and make things or reduce the stress as much as you can, and taking a coach, as the Americans like to call it, is the better way of doing that.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, Lindsay, that the Comrades coach is Coach Parry, but the Comrades buses are the buses that take you to. So we often get people coming and asking for us for bus tickets at the Comrades coach stand, but we don't sell the bus tickets. Those bus tickets are normally sold around where you pick your race numbers up. So you can pick up a bus ticket on the weekend at the Expo, and then the buses leave from the uprun start. So in Durban, that's where they leave from, I believe. And then you can catch a bus in the morning, and they'll give you all the times and when you need to be there for that sort of thing. So logistically, that is probably the easiest way to get to Pietermaritzburg if you are staying in Durban. Linz, I'm looking forward to next week, because we're going to be telling people how they can save themselves 20 minutes on race day. That podcast is huge, so important, and I'm looking forward to publishing that. Until next time, from the two of us, it's cheers.